PR Connections Radio presents.
Hello, Golden Knights fans and everyone watching all around the world. This is Vegas Hockey Hub here on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Rakelli, and we have a fantastic show planned for everyone watching all around the world, as we are going to be doing our Vegas Golden Knights minor league report for October 2023. So the concept of this is at the end of every month, the Vegas Golden Knights minor league report will be here on Vegas Hockey Hub. We'll take about a half hour. We'll break down Henderson Silver Knights, Savannah Ghost Pirates, and even give a little bit of a shout out to UNLV Rebels Hockey. And before we get into all of that, I do want to very quickly give a shout out to PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. Go on to the website. We have about a dozen shows on the network. There is amazing, fantastic content on PRConnectionsRadio.com. If you want to go out and check it out, go to PRConnectionsRadio.com and watch all the shows, including Vegas Hockey Hub. Go to the YouTube channel at PR Connections, where we upload every single show that's on the network onto the YouTube channel. We also upload every single episode of Vegas Hockey Hub to PR Connections Radio. So for every episode, for everything you want to see about the Vegas Hockey Hub and Vegas Golden Knights, go to PR Connections Radio YouTube channel and subscribe. That would be much appreciated. We also have the YouTube channel here on Vegas Hockey Hub. We actually post content every single day on the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel. We post shorts. We try to do stuff like that onto the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel. So if you want to like and or share the videos from Vegas Hockey Hub to all your friends and family and everyone around the world, I would much appreciate that as the host of Vegas Hockey Hub. And then lastly, I will say go to our social medias at Vegas Hockey Hub. We are on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Doesn't matter what site it is. We are there here on Vegas Hockey Hub. And it's been a fantastic journey as we are in season 2 of Vegas Hockey Hub. Last year was season number 1. What an incredible season that was. And season 2 has been incredible so far. So getting into the Vegas Golden Knights minor league report, we're going to get into the Henderson Silver Knights, as what an incredible journey it has been for the Henderson Silver Knights. So for the Henderson Silver Knights, let's take you back to opening night as they went to Iowa to take on the Iowa Wild. And the Henderson Silver Knights defeated Iowa 4-2 on opening night to win and go to 1-0 on the season. And that was actually a really good game for Henderson. This was an organization that had Adam Cracknell, the former Las Vegas Wrangler, the alternate captain of the Henderson Silver Knights. He not scored not 1, but 2 goals on opening night for the Henderson Silver Knights. Sheldon Rampel, the veteran on the top 6, had a 2-point night. And you also had the captain, Jake Bischoff, who had an assist on the night as well. So you had an assist from the captain, the alternate captain, with 2 goals on the night. Jari Patera, he was stopped 30 out of 32 shots on the night for Henderson to pick up a 1-0 on the season for the Henderson Silver Knights. So that's how they started out the season, by beating Iowa. So 1-0, they beat Iowa. And then the 2 days later, they go to Iowa again, and they drop not 1 goal, not 2 goals, not 3 goals, not 4 goals, not 5 goals, not even 6 goals, but the Iowa Wild have 7 dropped on them. Well, I mean, when I say Henderson beat Iowa 7-3, I'm not talking about the Vegas Nighthawks beating the Iowa Barnstormers in the Indoor Football League. No, I'm talking about the Henderson Silver Knights beating the Iowa Wild. I mean, you had 11 different players on the Silver Knights score a goal or an assist. Sheldon Rampel had a 3-point night. He had 5 points in the first 2 games of the season for the Henderson Silver Knights. Gregory Diansenko, who they acquired on waivers from Florida earlier that week, had a 2-point night. You also had Adam Cracknell, who had his third goal of the season, and it was only 2 games into the 2023-2024 AHL campaign, so not bad for him. You also had Brendan Brisson, who also had a goal as well. We're going to talk about Brendan Brisson later in the show. We'll also talk about Lukas Cormier and some notable players on the Henderson Silver Knights later on. But yeah, it was pretty incredible how Patara was 2-0 to begin the season in the AHL. The fact that the Henderson Silver Knights were 2-0 to begin the year, but that was on the road, right? That was in Iowa. And what the Henderson Silver Knights were going to do is they were going to head home. The San Jose Barracudas at Dollar Loan Center on opening night in Henderson. And what an incredible game that was, as the Henderson Silver Knights would remain undefeated as they would have a 5-4 game. Sheldon Rampel scored the game-winning goal. He's been a reoccurring theme so far in our recap of the Henderson Silver Knights. Sheldon Rampel scoring the game-winning goal for the Henderson Silver Knights. Mason Morelli had a 3-point game for the Henderson Silver Knights. He also had some accomplishments that happened in the game. Brendan Brisson, he actually scored another goal for the Henderson Silver Knights. That was number 2 on the season for Brendan Brisson. You also had a situation where, once again, Yuri Patara had a 31 out of 35 shots on the night, and he went to 3-0 on the young season for Henderson. So you have a goalie who's undefeated. You have a Henderson Silver Knights team who's undefeated. You have Sheldon Rampel, who has had back-to-back games where he has been lighting up the lamp. So it was incredible how the first couple of games, the Henderson Silver Knights were unstoppable. But they had to go the next night back into Henderson, take on the Barracuda in back-to-back games at home in Henderson, and people had to wonder, would Henderson improve to 4-0? Keep in mind, this is also going to be the first ever start for Jesper Beckman in the season. So Patera, he had done the first 3 games. Beckman was going to come in for the Henderson Silver Knights. How was he going to do for Henderson? Well, in an overtime affair at Dollar Loan Center, the Henderson Silver Knights would improve to 4-0 on the season, as the Henderson Silver Knights would beat San Jose in overtime 4-3. Mason Morelli with back-to-back games with a goal. Gregory Diansenko with the game-winning goal for the Henderson Silver Knights. You also had a situation where Lukas Cormier, who is one of the highest touted prospects the Vegas Golden Knights have, recording his first point on the season for the Henderson Silver Knights. You also had a Henderson Silver Knights team where Jesper Beckman recorded his first ever victory in the AHL, first ever time winning an AHL game. So you have a Henderson Silver Knights team that goes to 4-0 on the year, and you had 2 good goalies that were backing each other up. You have some good talent who are putting the puck in the back of the net. They seemed unstoppable. Well, unfortunately, they had to go to Bakersfield. They had to go to Bakersfield on October 24th, and for the first time all season, the Henderson Silver Knights would lose, as the Bakersfield Condors would win in Bakersfield 5-1 and make it the first loss to make it 4-1 on the year for the Henderson Silver Knights. And the only goal that the Henderson Silver Knights had was from Sheldon Rampel. Like I said, he's a reoccurring theme on this show. Sheldon Rampel scored a goal to make it the only goal in the game. I will also point out that Sheldon Rampel at this point had registered points in almost every single game so far in the 5-game stint. You also had them coming back and doing what they were going to do best, because the Henderson Silver Knights would take on the San Jose Barracudas. A week after going and being in Henderson and playing San Jose, they would go to San Jose and play in California. And the Henderson Silver Knights would actually do very well on this night, as the Henderson Silver Knights would defeat San Jose 4-3 on the road. You also ended up having a situation where Brendan Brisson scored another goal on the season. This was goal number 3 of the young season for Brendan Brisson. And then you also had Lukas Cormier, who had an assist in the game as well. And the young goalie, Jesper Beckman, he made an impact in the game as he faced 41 shots on net and made 38 saves for Henderson. So after all of that, the Henderson Silver Knights would be 5-1 on the season, and then they would head home for Nevada Day. They'd wear special Nevada Day uniforms, and they would lose 4-1 against the Ontario Reign. The Ontario Reign, who are the affiliates of the LA Kings, would come in, and on Nevada Day, they would beat the Vegas Golden Knights 4-1. Now, Alex Swetlikoff, who we're going to talk about later in the show, he would make his AHL debut, and in his first ever game in the AHL, he'd make a massive impact as he would make his only first ever goal in the AHL, as he would have his first ever goal in the American Hockey League. This was assisted by Patrick Gay and Jake Bischoff as well. So for you to go 5-2 on the year, only losses going to Bakersfield with a 5-1 loss in Bakersfield, and then a 4-1 loss at home against the Ontario Reign. And then lastly, the last game the Henderson Silver Knights would play in October, the Henderson Silver Knights would turn it up, and they would make a huge impact at the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson, as the Henderson Silver Knights would defeat the Anaheim Ducks affiliate San Diego Gulls to have a 4-2 win and improve to 6-2 on the season. Alex Swetlikoff had another goal for Henderson. It would be his second goal of the season. Gregory Diansenko with another goal for Henderson. And then lastly, Brendan Brisson, the former first-round pick for the Henderson Silver Knights, he would score the game-winning goal for Henderson, and he would make sure that Henderson wins this game and would beat the San Diego Gulls. And Jesper Beckman, he stopped 23 out of 25 shots to win and pick up his third straight win in Henderson. So great job by Jesper Beckman. So as we're talking about the Henderson Silver Knights, 6-2 on the year, let me just kind of go through some guys who have made a big impact so far. Now, the guy who leads the team in goals for the Henderson Silver Knights is Sheldon Rampel. Sheldon Rampel, 5 goals and 9 points in 8 games. Sheldon Rampel has no doubt been the goal scorer for Henderson. Sheldon Rampel has been a guy who has done very well for Henderson all 8 games into the year. He has been an impact player, and the fact that he is averaging over a point per game should tell you all you need to know about what Sheldon Rampel is doing. Now, the player who leads the Henderson Silver Knights in assists is the Vegas-born Gage Quinney. He has 1 goal but 6 assists on the year, so 7 points on the young season for the Vegas-born Gage Quinney. And the player that leads all of the Vegas Henderson Silver Knights in points is Gregory Diansenko. Gregory Diansenko has 4 goals, 5 assists, and 9 points in 8 games. So for Diansenko, the guy they acquired on waivers from Florida, he has done a fantastic job so far as a member of the Henderson Silver Knights. And Jake Bischoff, the captain of the Henderson Silver Knights, leads all Silver Knights players in plus-minus with +6. And then if you want to get scrappy, Mason Gearston has 37 penalty minutes for Henderson in 8 games. So that is more than 4 penalty minutes a game for Mason Gearston so far. And we're also going to continue as shots on net. Sheldon Rample leads the team with 29 when it comes to that. And then you also have, when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights and their Henderson Silver Knights situation, you have two prospects who we have to talk about. There are two prospects that we undoubtedly have to talk about. It makes a lot of sense that we need to discuss them right here and right now. Lukas Cormier, the best defensive prospect the Vegas Golden Knights have, and the number 2 prospect in the Golden Knights farm system, as recorded by Daily Faceoff. And Lukas Cormier has done really well for Henderson. Lukas Cormier has showed a lot of good upside for the Henderson Silver Knights. Now, the first 3 games of the year, he unfortunately did not show much. But against San Jose on October 21st, he had a 2-point night with 2 assists. 2 games later, he would register an assist at San Jose on October 25th. And then against San Diego, he would set up a goal very brilliantly against San Diego on October 29th. So Lukas Cormier in 8 games has 4 points on the season. So for a guy like Lukas Cormier, a 21-year-old defenseman, a young defenseman, Lukas Cormier, one of the best prospects the Vegas Golden Knights have, for him to be averaging half a point per game in the AHL, that is exceptionally well. And when it comes to Lukas Cormier, I have no doubt that eventually Vegas will need to use him. That eventually the Vegas Golden Knights, just like David Edstrom, when he inevitably comes from Sweden over to North America, these 2 guys are the future of the Vegas Golden Knights. Lukas Cormier is going to find a starting spot in Vegas at some point. He's too talented not to. And David Edstrom, who comes over from Sweden, the first-round pick from this past draft in Vegas, he is going to be a middle 6 forward in Vegas in a couple of years. No doubt in my mind that David Edstrom has the talent to be a middle 6 forward in Vegas. Lukas Cormier has the talent to be a second defensive pairing, third defensive pairing in Vegas in a couple of years. He is very talented. I like his upside, and I like his skill set. So as we talked about Lukas Cormier, let's shift over to Brendan Brisson. As Brendan Brisson, the former first-round pick by the Vegas Golden Knights, the 22-year-old they drafted from University of Michigan. And Brendan Brisson has been on a tear in Henderson in the first 8 games. He had a 2-point night, including 1 goal on October 14th against Iowa. He would back it up on the next game as having a goal against San Jose on October 20th. And then when they went to San Jose on October 25th, he would have a 1-goal performance and then score the game-winning goal on October 29th against San Diego. So far, Brendan Brisson, the former first-round pick, has 4 goals, 1 assist, and that means 5 points in 8 games so far in Henderson. So Brendan Brisson's done pretty well. Lukas Cormier is developing, doing pretty well. But what about somebody who has no expectations by the fans? What about a guy who the Vegas Golden Knights signed as an undrafted free agent? How about somebody who impressed last year in the ECHL and has now got his shot in the AHL? Of course, I'm talking about Alex Swetlikoff. Now, Alex Swetlikoff, I was very familiar with. I read the bulletin when he got signed as an undrafted free agent, and I knew that he was going to be a good player. So for Alex Swetlikoff, his statistics actually have been quite incredible. So his first 2 games playing in the ECHL, he had 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points in 2 games. He was averaging a point per game in the ECHL. Keep in mind that the year before, he got put on the map because he had a 20-goal, 50-point performance in the ECHL. Alex Swetlikoff, in his first season playing professional hockey outside of coming out of the Western Hockey League, had a 50-point performance in the ECHL. It is a reason why Alex Swetlikoff got his AHL debut in Henderson, because after having a 50-point performance, he ended up having a really good, and I mean a really good campaign this past season in 2022, 2023. So he did what he needed to do, and that was come to the AHL. And in just 2 games in the AHL, he has already scored 2 goals. Like, I want everyone to sit back and analyze that for a minute. A guy who was in the ECHL all last year, a guy who was in the Western Hockey League not even 2 years ago, and he has already scored 2 goals in just his first 2 AHL games. Now, I'm not going to expect this trend. I'm not going to expect it to happen the entire season. But if Alex Swetlikoff has a 20-goal performance, would it be shocking if he one day becomes a healthy scratch in Vegas? Would it really be absurd for Alex Swetlikoff to eventually make an impact as a bottom 6 forward in Vegas? Because like I said, last year in the ECHL, he had a 20-goal performance there. And he has had 2 goals in the first 2 games of being in the AHL. So definitely want to bring up him just because of that fact. Because of the fact that he has had 2 goals in his first 2 games in the AHL. The fact that this guy has had 21 goals in the ECHL in 71 games. So for Alex Swetlikoff, I'm going to be a huge supporter of him. I want to see him do well. And since we're talking about the Savannah Ghost Pirates, it is time to talk about their one player who caught my attention, and that is the undrafted free agent that is playing defense in the Savannah Ghost Pirates, and that is Joe Fleming. Now, Joe Fleming already impressed me when he was in the rookie face-off against Vegas. When Joe Fleming was playing for Vegas in the rookie face-off, he showed a lot of heart. He showed a lot of energy. This was a guy who showed that he could be a good player someday. And so far in Savannah, in 4 games, he has had 1 goal, 2 points in 4 games played. He is also averaging a penalty minute per game, as he has had 4 penalty minutes already in the ECHL. Now, the penalty minutes shouldn't be a surprise if you know anything about Joe Fleming, because Joe Fleming in this past year, when he was playing junior hockey, he had 202 penalty minutes playing for Cedar Rapids. He had over 200 penalty minutes playing in the United States Hockey League. So it shouldn't shock anybody at all that Joe Fleming had 200 penalty minutes in the USHL. Well, now he's averaging a penalty minute per game in the ECHL. But yeah, for a guy like Joe Fleming, he's got a lot of upside. He has some talent, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Joe Fleming does in the upcoming future. I want to see how he can do in Savannah and then eventually earn a promotion to Henderson if he earns it. And as we're talking about the Henderson Silver Knights, as we're doing our minor league report here on Vegas Hockey Hub, I'm your host, Ian Rickelli. It has been an up and down season for Savannah to begin the year. So for the Savannah Ghost Pirates, they have played 6 games in the month of October. They had their opening night against Jacksonville, and they lost 3-2 on opening night. And definitely an unfortunate situation. So you had a goal you did have some goals by Savannah, but unfortunately they lost in overtime. And they did not get the job done and lost as the Jacksonville Icemen beat the Savannah Ghost Pirates 3-2. The next night, being against Jacksonville, they'd pick up their first win of the season as they would win 4-2 against Jacksonville on October 14th. And Anthony Collins, he would score a goal for them. Vincent Marlowe would score a goal for them. In fact, Alex Gilmore would score a goal for them. So definitely a good situation there as they would pick up their first win of the season and be 1-1 on the year. Then they would take on the Norfolk Admirals, a former AHL team, now ECHL team, and the Norfolk Admirals. And in a shootout, the Savannah Ghost Pirates would pick up the win as they would beat the Norfolk Admirals. and they would have a goal by Vincent Marlowe once again. He's kind of also been a spotlight for the Savannah Ghost Pirates in the young season. So going to 2-1 on the year, they would go up against the Atlanta Gladiators. You have kind of that in-state rivalry there, the Atlanta Gladiators, Savannah Ghost Pirates. And even though Alex Swetlikoff would score a goal for them, and even Joe Fleming would score a goal for Savannah, the Atlanta Gladiators would pick up the win, and it would be a 4-2 victory. And then lastly, they would have a back-to-back series against Greensville, and the Greensville Swamp Rabbits, they would actually beat the Savannah Ghost Pirates in back-to-back games. Greenville would beat them 5-3 on the first night of it. Vincent Marlowe would score a goal in that game as well. And then you'd have Robbie from Delome. He would score for the Savannah Ghost Pirates. However, they would lose 5-3. And then the Greenville Swamp Rabbits would beat the Savannah Ghost Pirates in the second game. It would only be a 4-3 loss for Savannah. So unfortunately, the Savannah Ghost Pirates are 2-4 to begin the year in the month of August, in the month of October, for the ECHL. So the Vegas Golden Knights are 9-0-1. The Henderson Silver Knights are 6-2. And Savannah is 2-4. You know what? Still plenty of time to turn it around. I like what I see out of Savannah. There are some good players there in the ECHL. I won't be shocked if they turn it around. And we have about 3 minutes left here on the show. So it's time to get into UNLV. Let's talk about the UNLV Skating Rebels. And the one player who caught my mind, and the one player who I've been able to see, and I actually had a good impression by, is Cole Wyatt. Now, last season, when we did our minor league hockey report, I mentioned Cole Wyatt before. And I said that I like the way he plays. Cole Wyatt presents himself in a certain way with UNLV. He has the professionalism, but he has that confidence in him. Like when he is skating, you know that he knows where to get the puck. And you can tell that Cole Wyatt knows where that puck's going to go, as he has had 17 points in the first 10 games this year. And I will say Bradley Gallant, 7 goals and 16 points as well. Give props to him. Max Johnson has done well. 14 points, 9 of them being goals for UNLV. Rob McCollum, Tristan Rand, there is some good players on the UNLV hockey team. I actually would like to go see more of UNLV Skating Rebels, but unfortunately, I have work and other stuff I have to do majority of the time. But yeah, whenever I get a chance to watch UNLV Rebels hockey, I definitely do. And Cole Wyatt is the notable player there. He's kind of the standout for UNLV Rebels. Like I said, 5 goals and 17 points this season for UNLV. To put it into perspective, last year, Cole Wyatt had 14 goals and 24 assists in 28 games last year. He essentially would have scored a goal every other game for UNLV. And this season, he's backing that up as well. As this season, he has had 5 goals and 12 assists in 10 games. So for a guy like Cole Wyatt, this is a player who, once again, he has shown confidence. He shows that professionalism on the ice. And he also has that leadership, that maturity that I'm seeing as well when it comes to Cole Wyatt. So when I watch UNLV and I watch the hockey team, he has been one of the notable guys that you do notice with UNLV. And for Cole Wyatt and all the rest of the players on UNLV hockey, I wish them the best of luck this year. And like I said, when I have time and if I'm willing to, and if I actually have the time to do so, I will happily go down to City National Arena and watch the UNLV Skating Rebels. It's an incredible event. They have an incredible team, and I like watching what UNLV is doing down there. So keep doing it. And for anybody who wants to watch any UNLV hockey games in the upcoming future, well, on November 2nd and November 3rd, they're going to be taking on San Diego State at City National Arena. So if you are able to go to City National Arena on November 2nd or November 3rd and go down to City National Arena, I'd recommend it. San Diego State at 7 p.m. at City National Arena. Go watch UNLV. So this was another credible show of Vegas Hockey Hub. I'm your host, Ian Rickelli. And this was the Vegas Golden Knights minor league report on PR Connections Radio. I'm your host, Ian Rickelli. And until next time, continue watching hockey, go support junior hockey, and go Knights, go!